Welcome to the Dollars and Cents podcast with Wes the Economist and Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist. We're reporting to you live from the Wave Beach Realty Studios in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Give us a call today at 843-957-3872. All right, guys, welcome back into the Dollars and Cents podcast with Wes the Economist. I am Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist. And I had some questions for Wes today that I wanted to run by him. I've never really done much research on this or looked to answer this question myself, so I went into this blindly, and I'm sure he'll have some answer that I will partially feel like answers my question at least. But Wes, we're talking about the Bible today. We're talking about religion. We're talking about Noah. We're talking about the ark. How did this man one convinced and able to load two of every animal that's ever existed onto that ark and how to well, one, I don't know how it would stay afloat. It just seems like a lot of weight, but he had the perfect recipe for a good boat, I guess if
Yeah.
but I need
He
to
had the architect that I think could make a
I was
boat
ready to
for
say, yeah,
that.
if God gives you the architectural guidelines to a boat, it's probably going to be pretty good. But I still need to know how he got all these animals on there. I need answers. I know you've got something for me. How did this happen? How did this work?
Well, you asked on the reel about two of each kind, and
Yes.
that's actually not quite right. Noah, Genesis chapter 7 says, Lord then said to Noah, go into the ark, you and your family, because I have found you righteous in this generation. I want to stop right there. If this happened today, do you think you could find somebody righteous in this generation?
No, no,
Okay, I just said
he
something.
would just flood the earth, and whoever lived, we'd start over there. That's what would happen.
Take with you 7 pairs of every kind of clean animal, a male and its mate, and 1 pair of every kind of unclean animal, a male and its mate. So it literally was 14 of the clean animals defined in the law. Well, the law wasn't actually defined after this. People back then just knew what he meant when he said clean, and then only two of the unclean. So pigs, we had 2 pigs on the ark, but you probably had um, 14 cows, that kind of thing.
Okay, okay. So
So, and it comes back. I find myself in these conversations all the time, and it's almost like you want to, not you, but in general, people want to just ignore who told him to do this in the first place. Well, God did. So he gave him the plans for an ark, obviously big enough to hold this many animals, and then he built that ark over what was it, 40 years? I forget how many years it was right off the
oh,
top
it
of my
took
head.
that long?
Oh yeah, this is not something that happened
Well, I'm
real
sure it took a
quick.
while, but I didn't know it was 40
Um,
years.
I want to say 100 years, but I think I'm wrong on that. I'm looking at Noah and the flood. Let's see. I will give you this everything. Huh? Where is? I may have to go to a different section to find how long it took him to do it.
So why
Anyway,
just clean and unclean animals? What was the
well, if you know the Jewish law, they can only have certain animals to eat, obviously.
right?
um, and then they also to be around. There's different cleansing rituals and all, depending on which animals you're around. So a lot of different things went into that. That's a whole. I mean, that's not even one podcast. That's 20 podcasts. Um, so there's a lot built into that too. Okay, can't believe I can't find how long it took him to build it.
So the animals he had him bring on were just ones that were needed for food or things like that. It wasn't
Oh no,
there
it was
were
it was
different
all of them. It was everything. Everything that was everything was alive right then. Everything that God had put into the garden with Adam. I mean, I don't know of any Christians who don't believe in some kind of evolution. I'm not talking about the evolution that talking about mankind came from a different primate. I'm talking about uh, micro micro evolution. We have species now that didn't exist back then because God made them in a way that they would expand their base basically. So I don't think you can think of it in terms of all the animals that you see on Earth now, but all the animals that were on Earth at that point, yes, I think you can. Hippopotamus, giraffes, elephants. Again, you also have to understand there's a lot of argument about what the world was like before the flood. A lot of people believe on the Christian side that people had never even seen rain when it came. because
Hmm.
of and this is what some flat earthers use for some of their basis of being a flat earth, but supposedly the waters, um, the way the dew happened and everything, it was so much different before the flood than after the flood. And if you'll notice when it said it started raining, it also said the water came up from the deep. So something was changed, I think, physically on Earth when the flood happened.
Hmm.
So again, a lot to unpack there, and it's not no simple theory or no way to answer a question exactly. So coming back to your original question, I really think it comes back to, I mean, God was in control. He wanted to save the animals, not to remake them again. He saved one mankind because he initially started out going to wipe everybody off, and then he found Noah and said, "Okay, well, I'll build it around you." And so was Noah built the ark, but then God led the animals onto the ark.
And we're certain he specifically said that he flooded the entire earth. There was no part of the earth that wasn't underwater.
That's an argument of today, but in the Bible, it says um, the waters flooded the earth for 150 days. And we actually have in the geographical finds, archaeological digs here in the North America that support that theory that the whole world flooded.
Hmm.
Are you looking to buy a home in North or South Carolina? You need to reach out to Wave Beach Realty today. We are a family owned company with over 10 years of experience in North and South Carolina and operate along the Grand Strand. Give us a call today at 843 957 3872. That's 843 957 3872.
All right. Well, now it's officially time to introduce my book, Econ Sense, Economics for Everyday Living. You can actually find it by going to my website, econsense.us. If you go there, you'll see there are links to Amazon where you can pick it up, just a paperback, or if you'd rather have the ebook, you can go to Innovative Ink Publishing in care of Kendall Hunt Publishing Company, where you can get the print or ebook. And while you're on that website, you can also check out my other podcast, Econ Sense, which I have several different series that go by. You can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. Email me at west.the.economist@gmail.com, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Did you ever hear the theory that all the continents used to be connected as
Yeah.
one, and then after the flood, that's what split them up? That's what
I
I heard.
haven't heard the flood split it up, but I've heard that before. But
Between like the floods and the ice ages, and
some of the theories that would actually make sense because again, the Earth kind of changed afterwards, and the water came up from the depth. So yeah, I could see something.
it's
It's one of those
possible.
things, I argued this stuff for years and debated it, and for especially when I was younger. No offense to young people, Jonathan, but I thought I knew a lot more than I knew.
Yeah,
Um, and I've realized after years of study that there's so much more I don't know than what I know.
right,
And it all comes back to when you come back to faith in God, that comes back to that. It comes back to your faith in God.
right, right. So to get back to the question, basically, your reasoning is that God knew that how big the ark needed to be to carry to house the animals of that time that are probably substantially less amount of species than that are available today, and that's probably a more realistic way to look at it than me just thinking there was a billion different animals on
Yeah,
Earth.
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
It
Okay.
does say animals. I don't know about the mosquitoes and the butterflies and and the ticks and that none of that
I
was
I
addressed
don't
in the
think God
Bible.
was too worried about insects. I think he was like, they're just nobody likes them. He probably remade them just, to remind us that
Well,
this
Bible
isn't,
doesn't tell us that either, so I have
yeah.
no clue. But there's a lot of jokes out there. I just look at and like, yeah, you realize that's not biblical, but that's funny.
Yeah. He
There
left the insects in case he needed another plague. He's like, I'll just do a plague of mosquitoes later if people wanna act
you
up.
go. All right. So
All right, well
we'll have to
that
hit a
gets me a little
podcast
bit more.
sometime. Maybe we'll have a podcast sometime about early Genesis. Very interesting stuff
Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
with Nimrod, Noah, Tower of Babel. A lot of interesting stuff before the flood when people lived to be 800, 900 years old.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be cool.
All right. We'll see you on the next one.
All right, guys, we'll see you.
When life gets unpredictable, turn to a partner you can trust. At Bobby Clary State Farm, we've got you covered. Whether it's home, auto, or life insurance, we're dedicated to providing personalized coverage that fits your needs. With our friendly and knowledgeable team, navigating your insurance options have never been easier. Visit BobbyClary.com or call 843-438-6000. Bobby Clary State Farm, here to help life go right.
Eisenhower Dental, located at 107 Waccamaw Medical Park Drive in Conway, a place where you can find all your dental services, including general dentistry, cosmetic, restorative, and pediatric dentistry. Reach out to them today at their website, eisenhowerdental.com, or call them at 843-234-3110, 843-234-3110, and tell them Wes the Economist sent you. Mortgage payment, insurance payments, credit card payments, they can be very overwhelming. Are you ready to take the time to get things under control? Then reach out to me at Clark Financial Coaching to see if we can get you started with a budget and then a vision for the future. Write me at coachwesc@gmail.com. That's coachwesc@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening to the Dollars and Cents Podcast with Jonathan the Conspiracy Theorist and Wes the Economist. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and X at DollarsCentsGS and on Facebook at Dollars and Cents.